How has pornography become a silent yet potent force shaping and impacting Indian society? This isn't a question we often voice out loud, but it's one that's been simmering beneath the surface. The influence of pornography on Indian society is a complex issue, one that weaves itself into the fabric of our lives in ways we might not always recognize. It's a nuanced discussion that goes beyond mere morality, touching on aspects of psychology, culture, and even economics. Now let's delve into the facts and figures that shed light on this controversial topic. Data often speaks louder than words, so let's start by examining some revealing statistics. A recent study by the Internet and Mobile Association of India shows that around 75% of Indian internet users, aged between 15 and 34, consume pornography. This is a considerable percentage considering India's massive population and growing internet penetration. Now let's delve a bit deeper. A research conducted by the National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences tells us that a staggering 40% of these viewers fall in the category of problematic users. This term refers to those who spend excessive amounts of time on pornographic sites, leading to negative consequences in their personal and professional lives. Moreover, a survey carried out by the Indian Journal of Psychiatry discovered that a considerable number of these problematic users demonstrated a correlation between pornography consumption and increased aggression. The study found that about 60% of these users reported feeling more aggressive after viewing explicit content. Another survey, this time by the Indian Council of Medical Research, found that around 80% of these problematic users admitted to having difficulty in forming or maintaining intimate relationships. This is a significant finding, as it implies that excessive consumption of pornography can potentially lead to social isolation and a breakdown of relationships. Furthermore, a survey conducted by the National Crime Records Bureau shows a worrying trend. It found that nearly 50% of sexual crimes in India were committed by individuals who confessed to regular consumption of pornography. This is a chilling statistic, indicating a possible link between pornography and sexual violence. In addition, a study by the World Health Organization shows that almost 90% of these problematic users suffer from some form of mental health issue, ranging from anxiety and depression to more severe conditions like obsessive-compulsive disorder. These numbers paint a stark picture, but what are the real-world implications of these findings? So, how does this data translate into an impact on the ground? You might be asking yourself this question, and with good reason. The numbers we've just discussed are startling, but what do they mean in a real-life context? Let's delve into the societal impacts that come with the high consumption of pornography. Research suggests a strong connection between pornography and sexual violence. It's not hard to see why. Explicit content often portrays aggression and dominance as desirable traits, potentially leading to a skewed understanding of consent and respect in sexual relationships. Unrealistic body image expectations are another significant issue. Pornography often showcases bodies that are, quite frankly, not representative of the average population. This creates a false standard of beauty, leading to body dissatisfaction and self-esteem issues among consumers. The effects are particularly harmful for young adults who are still forming their self-identity and understanding of attractiveness. And it doesn't stop there. Relationship problems are another ripple effect of pornography consumption. High exposure to explicit content can lead to unrealistic expectations about sexual performance and intimacy, causing strain in relationships. It can also foster addictive behaviors, with consumers spending more time viewing explicit content and less time cultivating real-world relationships. But here's the twist. All these problems are magnified in the Indian context, considering the country's deep-rooted cultural norms. India is a society where sex education is often brushed under the carpet, and open conversations about sex are largely taboo. This leaves a vacuum of knowledge that is often filled by pornography, causing a distortion of sexual realities. In a nutshell, the high consumption of pornography in India is not just an individual issue. It's a societal problem with far-reaching consequences, affecting the mental health, relationships, and overall well-being of consumers. The evidence suggests a clear link, but how does this play out in the context of Indian cultural norms? As we move into our next section, we'll delve deeper into this clash of culture and content, and explore how the effects of pornography consumption intersect with traditional Indian values. Stay tuned. In a society where sex is often a taboo subject, the impact of pornography becomes even more profound. Imagine a cultural fabric tightly woven with traditional values and moral codes. Now, picture the disruptive force of pornography, tearing through this fabric, creating a rift between the ancient and the modern, the sacred and the profane. In India, the land of Kama Sutra, discussions around sex are often shrouded in hushed tones and veiled innuendos. The paradox is quite striking. On one hand, we have a society that has historically celebrated sexual expression, and on the other, we have an environment where open conversations around sex are frowned upon. Pornography, with its easy accessibility and explicit content, challenges this dichotomy head-on. It seeps into the societal cracks, creating a cultural disconnect. Young minds, in the absence of comprehensive sex education, turn to pornography for answers, often imbibing a distorted view of relationships, consent, and sexual norms. This clash is not just limited to the younger generation. Even adults, who carry the weight of traditional values, find themselves in a dilemma. Many grapple with the guilt of indulging in an act considered immoral by societal standards, leading to a cycle of shame and secrecy. The cultural clash goes beyond the individual, leading to societal issues. The unrealistic portrayal of sex in pornography can lead to unhealthy expectations in relationships, with partners feeling the pressure to conform to what they see on screen. Moreover, the objectification of women in pornography contributes to gender stereotypes, further propagating the societal issue of gender inequality. It reinforces the idea of women as objects of desire, rather than individuals with their own agency and desires. In a society where sex is often a taboo subject, the impact of pornography becomes even more profound. It's clear that the influence of pornography is far-reaching, but what can we do to mitigate these negative effects? While the problem is complex, it's not insurmountable. Here are some potential solutions. Firstly, let's tackle the elephant in the room: sex education. In a society where the topic is often shrouded in mystery and shame, it's crucial to bring sex education into the light. Schools, parents, and other influential figures need to step up and educate the younger generation about the realities of sex, differentiating between the fantasy of pornography and the reality of physical intimacy. This way, we can ensure they approach the subject with a healthy and informed mindset. Next, let's talk openly about pornography. It's time to stop treating it as a taboo and start discussing its impact. Conversations about the unrealistic portrayal of sex, consent, and body image in pornography should be normalized, helping individuals to understand that porn is not an accurate representation of real life. By making these discussions commonplace, we can mitigate the harm caused by pornography and promote a healthier view of sex. Finally, stricter regulations on pornographic content could be a solution. The government could enact laws to restrict access to explicit material, particularly for minors. This could include mandatory age verification systems and stricter penalties for sites that fail to implement them. However, it's important to remember that regulation alone won't solve the problem. It needs to be combined with education and open dialogue to be truly effective. Now, these solutions aren't going to change things overnight, but they're a step in the right direction. It's about turning the tide, bit by bit, until we reach a point where pornography no longer has the damaging hold on society that it currently does. While it's important to recognize the issues at hand, it's equally crucial to start working towards a healthier, more informed society. As we wrap up this discussion, it's important to remember that this is a multifaceted issue with no easy answers. The conversation about pornography's impact on Indian society is a complex one. We've delved into the staggering statistics, highlighting the sheer volume of consumption and its correlation with problematic behaviors. We've examined the real-world impact of these behaviors, discussing how they can distort perceptions of sex and relationships and contribute to a rise in sexual violence. We've also explored the cultural clash, drawing attention to the tension between traditional Indian values and the increasingly globalized, digitalized world we live in today. But it's not all doom and gloom. We've also proposed ways forward, emphasizing the need for a nuanced, informed approach to the issue. This isn't about demonizing pornography or shaming those who consume it. It's about understanding the potential consequences and fostering a culture of critical consumption. Education, both at home and in schools, is key here. We need to encourage open discussions about sex, consent, and respect, debunking myths propagated by porn and promoting healthier attitudes towards sex. We also need to provide support for those who may struggle with porn addiction, ensuring they have access to the help they need. By fostering open conversations and promoting education, we can hope to mitigate the negative effects of pornography and build a more understanding society. So let's keep this conversation going and work together towards a more enlightened future. Let's now take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Society plays a crucial role in shaping our views and behaviors. How we perceive pornography, how we interact with it, and how we react to it, all these are influenced by societal norms and expectations. The widespread consumption of pornography isn't just an individual issue, it's a societal one. When pornography becomes normalized, it can subtly shift our collective understanding of sex and relationships, making it harder to recognize and challenge problematic behaviors. Conversely, when pornography is heavily stigmatized, it can lead to shame and silence, preventing open discussions and making it harder for those struggling with addiction to seek help. Our societal norms and values also play a significant role in shaping individual behaviors. The way we perceive and interact with pornography is shaped not only by our personal experiences, but also by the societal narrative surrounding it. If society continues to perpetuate harmful stereotypes and unrealistic expectations, we can't expect individuals to magically deviate from these norms. But society isn't a static entity. It's capable of change, and it's this potential for change that we need to tap into. By challenging harmful norms, promoting open discussions, and fostering a culture of critical consumption, we can help shape a society that's more understanding, more compassionate, and better equipped to deal with the challenges posed by pornography. Society as a whole needs to take responsibility and work towards creating a healthier environment. We all have a role to play in this, from parents and educators to policymakers and media outlets. By working together, we can hope to mitigate the negative effects of pornography and build a society that's more understanding and resilient.